most listened to Detroit sports morning show is about to start. Start your day with a warm cup of Flannel Sam. Or how about a full cup of Detroit Kool-Aid?
Oh, yeah.
Mix in a little JB, and you got yourself the breakfast of champions. Live guests, fan reactions, and updates for your favorite teams. Wake Up Woodward is live now on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Appreciate y'all for choosing to kick off this day with the WUW Crew. It's your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter with Flannel Sam, vet of the squad, vet of the network, all sports knower, and you know what, Riley Green jersey wearer.
Yes.
Hey, ever so appropriate for today, man.
Ever so appropriate for today, but yesterday, even though I'm not going to lose my ish over splitting a doubleheader.
No, it worked out how you called it.
I freaking hate doubleheaders.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I get why they have to be done sometimes. I mean, rain happens. We can't control the weather. If you try to base your life on the weather, you're going to be disappointed most of the time, but I don't like doubleheaders. But shout out the Tech. We know they're going to win today, and they're going to win another series 2 out of 3 like they always do, so everything's fine.
It's just like they always do. At this point in time, it's a broken record.
Yeah.
I'm old-time broken record, though. Shout out to the Detroit Tigers as well, because I do got the victory shades. Not necessarily for splitting, but because we got to celebrate the fact that they got three already in the game, man. Shout out to New Hip Javi. And you want to tell the people what else is on the menu? It's not a whole lot. It's just what the Pistons did.
Hey, yeah. We're going to get to that in just a minute because Trajan may have cooked and he may not be done in this offseason. But today, after we talk some Pistons in the open and maybe probably for the first 15 to 30 minutes, we got a lot of Tigers on the docket because 3 Detroit Tigers were named all-star starters as position players, which is quite amazing. They have a third of the starting positional players themselves. They do have the best record in baseball, so it's not, or in the American League for sure, so it's not necessarily that outside the realm of possibility, but we still have to celebrate it. And also, one thing that last night's game told me, and it's not the only thing, but off of watching the season, is that to me there is a very clear positional need that the Tigers need to target at the trade deadline. I'll tell you what I think that is, and we'll see if the panel here agrees with me. So lots of Pistons, lots of Tigers.
Hey, and I can't wait. And talking about the Detroit Pistons right now, I absolutely love what Trajan Langdon is doing. This is an offseason where, and we teed this up leading up to the draft and up to free agency, that I do believe that this team is looking to make some tweaks and where they can strike without hamstringing things for the future, like Trajan Langdon said, that's what they were going to do. And that next offseason is one where I think you're going to see more fireworks, even if those fireworks are the extensions of Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, Marcus Sasser. Even if it's just that, because then that means that these guys did take the necessary steps forward, and they did prove, at least for Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey, they're taking that step towards stardom. They're taking that step towards, these are the players that we do need. We don't have to look for our 5 of the future. We don't have to look for our 2 of the future. We don't have to look for our backup point guard. We know that, or a combo guard. We know that Sasser can lock it down. And so when you see the Pistons doing what they do here, it's more of, like I said, that front office underneath Trajan Langdon is hands down one of the best in all of the NBA. They understand the cap. They understand the CBA. They understand, I believe, other teams' caps better than they even do. When you see how they got Schroder, and now Dennis Schroder, and now you see that they're about to potentially flip this thing into a trade exception, that's amazing. That's amazing.
It gives do that.
But that's what I'm saying. This is why when Michael Blackstone was hired and we started to look at the different parts and pieces going into the front office, this is why we got excited about it. I remember doing that episode. It didn't get much, it didn't generate much engagement. But right now it sure is. At the trade deadline, it sure was. And this, to me, is the power of a Trajan Langdon at president of basketball operations. They haven't had this in a long time. They haven't had one singular voice in that office for a long time who can delegate properly, who understands what he understands, and can put people in the right places to do the job effectively. And that's what I believe we see happening right here, because we all thought this thing was dead on arrival. But the more and more I'm thinking about it, maybe they believe, we can have our cake and we can eat it too. They bolstered the starter free agency with the Beasley news by getting LeVert. They probably went out there and said, maybe we like the fit of Duncan Robinson a little bit better. I don't think Trajan Langdon dragged his feet. I think Trajan Langdon did what Trajan Langdon wanted to do. Because the Kings media and so many people I saw put it out there that, well, Trajan Langdon thought he was going to make the Kings wait. Well, did he? He still, look, they still waiting. He got his guys and still might get something else. Yeah. That's called cooking.
Yes, it is. And remember yesterday when we talked to Rod Beard, I had mentioned how the Karis LeVert signing I came around on, even though at first I was at first I was a little like, but when I dug more deep into it, I'm like, okay, this could work. The Duncan Robinson signing I was happy about, but was I completely satisfied? Not quite yet, although not angry. But what Trajan Langdon was able to do, and Chase, if you have the Omari Sankofa tweet, you can put it up. Whether you can or can't, I will read it. Source, this is from Omari Sankofa. He's a Pistons beat reporter. The Dennis Schroder signing will be a sign-and trade between the Pistons and Kings. That will allow the Pistons to take back up to $22.6 million, or will generate a player exception worth $14.3 million. If they don't take a player back, either way they gain flexibility. And save that for a couple of minutes, Chase, because we're going to talk more about that, because it was a quote tweeted and it could lead to some interesting conversation. So, how the F were they able to do that for Dennis Schroder? Do you think part of it is taking advantage of the Kings organization, which has proven since the early 2000s, since their heyday, to be a little dumb?
You know what? I think that the Kings organization today has a better structure than prior. Sure. And I do believe that when you look at the grand scheme of things, like how this NBA water is starting to bubble up with this mega trade that's being rumored and such, I do believe that there's some teams that are seeing some opportunities to strike, whether it's getting a player that they covet and think that they can help them the next steps ahead, or whether it's you can do something cap strategy-wise to put yourself in a better position. And I do believe right now that is what the Kings are trying to do. I wonder right now if they have pivoted somewhat and believe that they are a squad that can go and compete in the West next year with what they have. Because this offseason started with them seemingly wanting to trade everything. Domantas Sabonis was up for in rumors. We understood Malik Monk's name came up in some rumors. But now it's a situation where they've gone and they've signed people and they haven't traded those guys. So it is interesting to see how they're operating. And I think that right now what you see is them stuck in between two places. They had a strategy, and now they're looking at, well, look at the roster we have. We actually, it's not horrible. No. But, and you look at this. If that big old deal goes down between these other teams, the Kings are probably looking at this thing and saying, maybe we can go and compete based on where the chips fall.
Maybe. It's tough with them because I still see play-in, maybe. And that's not really the best situation to be in. They've kind of, I would say that they've underachieved in the last couple of years, taking the Warriors to 7 in that series and then kind of falling off of a cliff after that. They've obviously got some talent, a lot of vets, I would say, a couple of former Chicago Bull vets, which is very, very interesting. Obviously, Sabonis, they still got Monk, they still got Keegan Murray. They're definitely not bad. Roster, yeah, right. Those are nice pieces. I don't. It's hard to say what they're doing. Like you said, they're in a weird purgatory limbo. Not the worst, but also not advantageous either.
Similar to Trajan Langdon, though, and that's what I'm saying. Remember, Trajan, did he not say the same thing? Like, whoa, we had a plan, but these guys are a whole lot better than we actually expected. So now we have a different plan, and that's where I believe the Kings, underneath their new management, I believe that they might be there. I believe the old management, you absolutely would have seen 3 or 4 players traded by now. Absolutely. Yeah, Keegan Murray would have been out of there, and they would have traded him for like 4 first-round picks, and they'd be like, huh? If you got a guy like that, you're not trying to trade him for just first-round picks. He's already your young player. You're trying to trade him for somebody established. But these are the things that we've seen them do in the past. And so I'm looking forward to seeing exactly where they go from here, which side they lean into, because the free agency off-season period is not done yet. And I do believe that they have a lot of pieces that teams around the league are probably looking at like, hey, I mean, if you're looking to get rid of somebody, which was why I got so excited when Kavasier Chase talked about Sabonis in our previous free agency talk when we were talking about the Schroder to the Kings trade, is because we understand exactly who the Kings have been, but they don't seem like they're operating the same way. Them creating this, honestly, let me put it this way, because when Troy Weaver got the trade exception for the Jeremy Grant sign and trade, it was effectively, when he gave it to Denver, it was effectively him saying, you know what, thank you guys, and saying we'll create this for you. So this might be one of those situations too, where the Kings, they get the ability to say, you know what, we will engage in this, we will give you this. And so that's why I look at this new front office here and I say, you know what, Kings are doing things today a whole lot differently than we saw them do prior.
No, that's fair. They maybe calling them dumb right now is a little disrespectful, but they were. There was
the
a time.
previous generation.
There was a time.
Well, like whatever
Look
Vladdy, Joe Dumars, whatever was going on during those years, it was like, what are they doing?
Look at
I
their
had no
drafts
idea.
Between like 2010 and 2018. Besides for De'Aaron Fox, they're morbid. Shout out our old friend Marvin Bagley.
But it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here, because you got this big trade exception, and obviously they can utilize that between now. They can utilize that by the trade deadline. I'm wondering now, where's Trajan's mind at? Is it a backup 4? Is it another wing? Is it another guard? This thing is going to be interesting, because even when you look at what the Kings still have on their roster, I think Travis in the chat just said, man, he would love Keegan Murray. You look at everything from Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, John Collins. You know what I mean? It's still out there. It's like there are still some options for the Detroit Pistons to be able to make an impactful move this offseason.
Hey, and speaking of which, glad you mentioned Keegan Murray, Travis, in the chat, because speaking of our company group chat, Chris Platty, thank you for earlier on at about 7:15. Shout out to the heavyweights, giving me some ammunition for the show, because he posted in our chat a tweet from Kyle Metz. He's a Pistons content creator, I believe, for the home
shout
court.
Out Kyle Metz. He's been on Woodward Pistons Table Talk as well.
A shout out to Kyle Metz, friend of the network. He actually came up with a list of forwards. He's just singling out forwards, but I think it's interesting, that fit into Schroder sign in trade as is. And that is, he was quoting the Omari Sankofa tweet. And Chase, if you want to put that one up really quick, it was the one from earlier.
Yes, I know. I got you, Sam.
I appreciate it. All right. So the list is Kyle Kuzma, Dylan Brooks, Harrison Barnes, Rui Hachimura, Patrick Williams, Keldon Johnson, Jonathan Isaac, PJ Washington, Obi Toppin, Jared Vanderbilt, and Keegan Murray. Do any of these names sound enticing?
Are you sure it's Jared Vanderbilt and not the University of Vanderbilt we can put on the roster?
Hey, shout out Simeon, our Vanderbilt
Mr.
insider.
C.
Hey, Diego Pavia, anyone?
Pavia. Tune in to
Williams.
Big D later.
If Troy Weaver was here, Patrick Williams would probably be on this team right now. That was somebody that he was absolutely fawning over. And I like the skill set he brings. But for me, for some reason, I like the back half of this list a little more than the top half of it.
I would agree with that.
I definitely do. I'm looking at some names there. Like, do you buy the risk, high reward of a Jonathan Isaac? Do you like, the energy of the guys like Patrick Williams and Keldon Johnson? I know there's a lot of love out there for Obi Toppin, because you're getting one of those NBA-ready guys who can do a plethora of things out there on the court and defend on the other side. And then there was infatuation with Keegan Murray, because we all, no matter who your favorite draft pick was, we all had to fall in love with one of the ones that could be up there. We all fell in love with, well, at least we know we're going to get one of these top 5 to 7 players. And Keegan Murray was one of those guys that we knew. If we do get him, at least we know we're getting a young shooter. So I like whatever, if you come away with anybody on this list, anybody, it will help the Detroit Pistons next year. But there are some on this list I do believe adds a little bit more to when you talk about versatility, when you're talking about being able to fit right into a system, really day one. I like some of these names up here.
No, it's interesting because you see quite a variety, even though they're all like technically forwards.
Yeah,
if you
PJ
want
Washington.
If you want, if you want like defensive focused players, obviously you got Dylan Brooks, you've got Jared Vanderbilt, Jonathan Isaac is the one with the most size. He's 6'10", although
injuries
definitely has a big injury history, and I don't really love him as an offensive player. To me, there are 3 on this list that are my favorite, and not in any particular order, but I will just go the order as they appear on the list. Rui Hachimura is intriguing to me. So is Obi Toppin, and so is Keegan Murray. And and honestly, probably the one I'm most intrigued with right now, and maybe it's recency bias. If the Pistons could get Obi Toppin, man.
My three: P.J. Washington, Keegan Murray, and Obi Toppin.
There we go. So we
got 2 of the 3
on Obi Toppin.
And I'm a Rui fan. My household is a Rui fan. Like, my kids are Rui fans.
That's an odd
he
thing
is
for your
he's a
household
Blasian.
to be a Rui fan.
He's a Blasian.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
They like Rui Hachimura. Yeah, and I like whatever they want to, their culture, whatever excites them. I try to support that. And so
I'm a Rui
fan.
Wasn't he the first Japanese player to go in the lottery?
Yeah, he was.
So.
Yep.
He's been a good player.
His father's Jamaican.
Yeah, but Obi Toppin, though, because we both can certainly kumbaya on him. He had a phenomenal season for the like.
You said his dad's Jamaican?
I believe so.
I think there's only 3 countries in the world that start with a J, and he's got 2 of the 3 in his heritage, like Japan, Jamaica, Jordan.
Wow.
Oh shoot,
that's crazy.
That's
Chase GPT on the money this morning.
That is definitely Chase GPT for that. But you know what? Since we're on the Rui Hachimura thing, I mean, he's a wing. He can play off ball. He's really not that much of a high volume 3-point shooter, but he's got good size. I would like him on this team. He's probably my 3rd choice of my top 3. When it comes to Obi Toppin, he had his best season last year with the Pacers on a team that had a really good system and a pass-first point guard. Kind of sounds like what the Pistons are building, although Halliburton's more pass-first than Cade, but we know Cade was top 5 in assists. Obi averaged 11 points per game on 53% from the floor, 37% from 3 on 4 attempts, which is awesome. Great volume, great percentage, 4 rebounds. He's hyper-athletic. He can defend. He had 3, by Obi Toppin standards, excellent finals games, a few more excellent playoff games, and you know how much I take that into account because I took that into account a lot when I was evaluating Duncan Robinson. Obi Toppin, I feel the exact same way about. And when it comes to Keegan Murray, I think Keegan Murray, let's just say this, his 3-point percentages have dipped the last few years. However, I don't think Keegan Murray fits with a Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan backcourt. I think
I don't think Sacramento has been good for Keegan personally.
I think they were good from his rookie year. When they were good, when they won that, they didn't win that playoff series. They got to the playoffs. They had they took Golden State to 7. They looked like they were ascending. He shot 41% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. He's obviously a big body, 6'7", about 225, can rebound. I think with the Pistons, he would have a 3-point renaissance personally.
You know what would be a really good fit, Sam?
Who?
Something you can dip your buddy's pizza into some ranch dressing, Kool-Aid. We can talk more about the Pistons here in a sec. Kool-Aid, you want to tell us a quick second about Buddy's Pizza?
Hey, Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946, and 79 years later, they have 22 locations in this great state of pure Michigan. Fans, they can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Reward to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That is the number 10 MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs like Dan Campbell knee kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Hey, and we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward chat family. Thank you guys for choosing to kick off this day with the WUW Crew. Going ahead, smash that like button. Let's get those likes up. Going to talk a little bit more Pistons, talk about the strategy here ahead for them. It's awesome to see what is open and available because I do believe this front office is operating in 3D, whereas our prior front offices operated in 2D. And that's what stunted Troy Weaver, in my opinion. There was a specific way that the old regime and some of the other guys in that front office operated, whereas right now, we're seeing Trajan and Co. effectively going in like they're the Justice League and coming out with solutions that are filling, think about this. Free agency is a time period where everybody already has their deals made by the time free agency has started. How did they go and get some of the better free agents that were on the board? Some of your better shooters out there. They went out there and they even pulled somebody that was initially a restricted free agent. You see, and so that's why when you look at what Trajan's doing with the pivot, and you're looking at the fact that they lost a couple of reliable shooters and ball handlers, and they replaced them with that, this is where you look at now. This part of the free agency is where Trajan Langdon and Co. are proving just how much special they are. So proving fair and right on the pivot, cool, passing grade. What they're doing right now is where all Pistons fans should be able to be like, yo, you know what? This is not Troy Weaver era. This is not the SVG era. This is not the end of Joe Dumars era. This is not the Ed Stefanski era. This is something completely different, and I, for one, as a Detroit sports fan, am grateful that we got a guy like Trajan Langdon in there. That Tom Gores cut the check to get Monty Williams out of here, bring in a guy like Trajan, and now we're sitting here with the opportunity to do something right now or see what needs arise and utilize that later. But I like the picks that you had there, man. You can't go wrong with any of them. And when I look at a PJ Washington, yeah. I like the volume aspect that he brings. My only concern is if there's a reducage of minutes and or usage, is PJ Washington still as effective, and does he buy completely in to the team? Because that's the one that kind of excites me the most, I guess. Keegan Murray is the one that intrigues me the most, and then Obi Toppin is the one that I believe, okay, we got an NBA player who's had some experience playing, on a couple different teams and in some high-pressure moments. But P.J. Washington is one that I do believe presents somewhat, even if it's small, either a floor raiser or just a little bump of a ceiling raiser for the Pistons. I think he's a dynamic scorer, hitting about 38% on high volume from behind the arc. And we already understand he brings a little bit of athleticism and that edge to the wing position too.
No, and he's a good all-around player. I mean, if I were making my fourth choice, maybe I would say P.J. Washington. Another thing about him, and I know maybe I put too much stock in this. I don't think I do, because we expect the Pistons to be in the playoffs every year. He was a pivotal player on the Dallas Mavericks run to the finals last year. I mean, his numbers weren't perfect, but he had some, what you would call, like I mentioned with Obi Toppin, by P.J. Washington standards, some excellent playoff games on a run to the finals. And we obviously know about his skill set. You said it before, though, from that list that we put up a little while ago, I think most of those guys would make your team better. And there's a wide variety of different kinds of players, even though they're technically all forwards. Some would require more usage. Some would require less. I know that that's something we should take into account as well. But, just to rehash My top 3 sign and trade targets from that list that was put up earlier are a Rui Hachimura, Obi Toppin, and oh my goodness, I forgot.
Keegan
Murray, yes. Keegan Murray.
And when you're talking about the complete buy-in, out of all the players on that list, Keegan Murray is the one to me who I believe would come here, see his draft class peers from multiple classes. It's not just the draft that he was in with Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren, but it's also about the fact that when you're going through these things and you're in your under 17s and then you're in the junior Olympic stuff and then you're in the select teams, they're playing with these guys for years. He knows Cade Cunningham just as much as he knows Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren from his own draft class. He knows about Asar Thompson. These are his homies. These would be his guys. So you look back at some of the old videos and you see guys like Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green and their interactions as teenagers, on the AAU circuit. And so Keegan Murray is one of the interesting picks to me because I think that it's time he needs a renaissance. I mean, what better place than a place like Detroit? And then you're with younger players. And shout out to intern Haley, who was, perusing the Pistons Twitterverse and Pistons Jack talking about the fact that they would have 3 extension-eligible players on their rookie contract, and they would need to be paid. But I do believe that you put yourself in a really, really, really good position to have all of those RFA rights on some of the most promising young players from that draft.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. We're talking about Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, and Keegan Murray on the same team. And I see Willie B in the chat. Shout out to you. I've been watching him since his Iowa days, as have I. I consume a lot of Big Ten basketball, and thought the Pistons were going to pick him, and now we get a chance to get him years later. I mean, I don't know how much of a chance, but it is possible. And, yeah, I was higher than most on Keegan Murray before the draft. I think for the most part he's lived up, although somewhat inconsistent. But like I said before, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Kings organizationally didn't really fit around him and took a bit of a nosedive the last couple of years.
And then they changed front offices and strategies.
I think he'd have a renaissance in Detroit. I really do. Yeah. If he accepted his usage, which that's another question.
And that's why I believe with the whatever has gone down in Sacramento, you would almost believe he'd welcome any situation. And you know what Detroit would do here? They would roll out the red carpet. Fans would absolutely roll out the red carpet for a player like Keegan Murray, who a large portion of our fan base got excited for around draft time. A large portion of us would have been okay if it was Keegan Murray as the pick. We would have been okay with that. And you know what? Seeing what he did early on as a rookie in the second year, it's like, you know what? They absolutely fumbled this thing. And I do believe that if you get up, think about this. We see Jaden Ivey. Look at the year he was off to underneath J.B. Bickerstaff. Sure. Look at the leap that these young players took underneath J.B. Bickerstaff. And it's interesting because he didn't even hesitate. Jaden Ivey went from forgotten afterthought underneath one coach to, no, this guy's starting. Like, I remember asking J.B. Bickerstaff, hey, I understand you talked about what you see in Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. Was there anything else that you saw on this roster? Obviously Cade Cunningham, but when you look at a Jaden Ivey, who might have been misused, in prior regimes, did you have something in mind before you took this job, or even as a coach, seeing this situation go on? Were you looking over there saying, dog, if I had a player like Jaden Ivey? I just asked him that, and he just smirked. He was like, we got something. We got a plan. And then what did we see? We saw Jaden Ivey shoot out like a cannon. Career highs, man. In 17, really looking like a player that if this season would have continued, he would have been a sure 18-5-5 guy, hitting, 38% on high volume from behind the arc. So that's where I'm like, you get J.B. Bickerstaff, Keegan Murray. I think that's the one to me that is the most intriguing out of every name on that list.
It's definitely very, very intriguing. But do you know what else is intriguing?
Talk to me.
Detroit Tigers having 3 all-star positional players starters.
Let's go.
We're going to talk about that. We've got
hip surgeries for everybody.
A lot of glazing to do, but not all glazing. We'll come back.
Hey, let's go, man.
Tell us about the White Claw Tigers tour.
Calling all Tigers fans, join Spencer and Easy for our final stop on our tour on Friday, July 11th at Second Best Bar in Detroit. Be part of the fun. See our reactions live on Woodward Sports Network to one of the hottest teams in baseball. Let's just call it what it is, the best team in baseball, and they've been that way for a very long time. It is the White Claw Tigers tour, brought to you by White Claw and Vin Johnson Law. We want to see you guys there.
Tired of losing out on the car of your dreams? Bad credit? No credit? At the Feldman Chevrolet Freedom Sale, we say yes. Over 5,000 new Chevys to choose from, all priced to move with our best deals of the year. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $149 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for only $209 a month. When other dealers say no, Feldman Chevrolet says yes. Don't miss the Freedom Sale, going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
It's Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. They have 5 locations. You can pick up a new Chevy or across Michigan: Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing. This month's specials are going to include the 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab. You can pick that baby up $149 per month, or upgrade, ride in style, a little SUV action. 2026 Chevy Equinox LT leased for $209 per month. Feldman Chevrolet. Check them out.
Check them out. You know what else you gonna check out in the All-Star game? A whole lot of Tigers running wild. Hey, shout out to those Detroit Tigers, man. This is an awesome revelation for this squad. To honestly go from 2 All-Stars last year to at the moment 3. Wait, Riley Green. Let me just announce this, all right? Gleyber Torres will start at second base for the American League in the All-Star game. Javier Baez will start in the outfield for the American League in the All-Star game. Hey, stop me if you've heard this one before. Don't, because I have to say this. Riley Green, another Tiger, will start in the outfield for the American League in the All-Star game. Shout out to those Detroit Tigers being recognized for the great first half of the season that they've put on the board.
Absolutely. And I want to start with Mr. Riley Green, of course, because he is their best positional player. He has had an excellent season. And, man, we've come a long way with Riley Green from the day when I said the most regrettable thing I've ever said on air. But ever since then, he's been on an absolute tear, and he just hasn't stopped. And you know how I feel about Riley Green. And this year, quite frankly, he's putting up, in my opinion, a third in MVP voting type season in the American League, only behind Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. And if you want to put up Chase his AL rankings this season, I think they paint him in an even better light than people even realize. He's tied for 5th in the AL in hits at 99, 10th in batting average at 296, tied for 5th in doubles at 21, tied for 3rd in home runs at 21, 3rd in RBIs with 69.
You can smile while saying this. It's okay. We'll understand.
3rd in RBIs at 69. Oh, by the way, 1 behind Aaron Judge, 2 behind Cal Raleigh, which, shoot, if he has another one of them games, he might be first. 6 yesterday, shout out. 4th in the American League in slugging percentage at .552, 4th in the American League in OPS at .898, and he's tied for 10th in the American League in wins above replacement at 2.9. The guy is putting up an MVP caliber season, and honestly, you know what he's having right now? I'm making this up. He's having the best normal great season in the American League. Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh this season are aliens. Aaron Judge has a 1,200 plus OPS. Cal Raleigh's on pace to have the best season ever offensively for a catcher. But Riley Green, he's just right behind them. He's been the best player on the best team in the American League, the best position player on the best team in the American League.
And at the very least, Riley Green has in his back pocket like a little brother who has the big muscular big brother. He could say, I don't care. My team can beat your team up. And that's what I love about the Detroit Tigers. And shout out to Riley Green for contextually staying at 3rd, in the in RBIs, just because it's nice. He's nice like that. He could go higher, man. He probably will, but for a little bit, why not stay at 69? But shout out to Riley Green. Nice. Shout out to Riley Green, man, because this is a guy who weathered all the ups and downs, weathered the noise. And I think when you talk about aliens, this is a guy who the noise, the slumps, these things, they just don't bother him. He just seems to look like the same guy all the time. Whether whether people are saying, oh, man, I need Riley Green to do this, or whether we're all cheering like, wow, Riley Green did this. He just seems to look the same. And now over 2 seasons, he's consistently put together all-star, and now he's starting to trend towards this guy needs to be brought up in MVP conversations. This guy needs to be brought up in superstar conversations, and I get it. Traditionally, you want one of those guys that has a little bit more of the flair, a little bit more of the what people would traditionally say is the aura. But I think Riley Green is his own ecosystem of aura, and this is what him starting in this game now another year. This is what it this is I believe the recognition and what it means. He
plays the game the right way. He plays the game the only way that he knows how. And I think it's really important when we're talking about him potentially being recognized as a superstar. This is not the first season he's been really damn good. I mean, last year he was an all-star. He's followed it up with basically being better across the board with all of his numbers. He has 21 home runs before the All-Star break. He had 24 all of last season in 137 games. He has 69.
That's why I said ascending.
Again, 69, again, nice RBIs before the All-Star break. He had 73 in 137 games all last season. And last year was a great year. But this year, I'll tell you what, if he finishes the season top 5 in AL MVP voting and has a good to really great postseason run, he's absolutely a no-doubt superstar. He's right there. He's really, really close.
That's why I said ascending. I'm not going to necessarily drink all the Kool-Aid, or I've already done that. But for the sake of the show, I will at least level with the people and say, hey, you know what? Some middle ground somewhere is ascending. And that's as low as you go. It's ascending for him, and he's proven that this year.
Can you go? Hello, can you go?
Hey, shout out to Kavasi HS over there. Yeah. Hold it down in the TD booth. For Woodward Sports MVP, JB Smooth. Hey, we miss you, brother. Can't wait to have you back on the show. And shout out to that dude, Justin, intern Ryan, intern Haley, intern Noah. Got a whole crew in here.
But show JB some love by going and liking and subscribing and checking out No Chill with JB Smooth.
Shout out, man. Shout out. That guy does so much for this network. Like I'm telling you, when he's not here, you've definitely feel the effects, and it is very, very rare. It's almost like we have to push him out of the office and say, hey, bro, go take a trip, man. Go take a trip. So if you can, throw some love in the chat for JB Smooth. If he's tapped in somewhere, I know that he will see that. Throw some likes on here as well. As we continue to set up the glaze factory for the Detroit Tigers.
Yes, and speaking of glazing, we got to glaze Gleyber Torres as well because he is a worthy all-star starter at second base. If you want to put up my little write-up on him, because Gleyber Torres this season, 383 on-base percentage, which is tied for 5th in the American League, and it's first among AL second basemen. He's got 44 walks, which is 6th in the American League and first among AL second basemen. His .279 average is first among AL second basemen, and his 2.2 wins above replacement is first among AL second basemen. He has turned out to be a Scott Harris masterclass, and he deserves to be an all-star starter at second base, the best second baseman in the American League. All that man does is just get on base. 383 is alien, and he's never done that before. 44 walks at this stage in the season, I wouldn't say that's alien, but it's considering he had a short IL stint at the early on in the year, it's pretty close to alien.
But I have a couple questions for you, man. One, where do you have him ranked as it relates to top acquisitions this past offseason? And then two, is it crazy to you to see how many kind of whether like renaissances, no matter if it's great renaissances like Spencer Torkelson and Javi Baez, or even minor ones like a Torres? Is it like crazy to you that this is happening here? Like, what the heck is going on? I'm glad it is, but this is amazing to me. Well, absolutely amazing.
In terms of acquisitions in Major League Baseball, I mean, it's closer to the top than you think. I mean, obviously you got Juan Soto for the Mets. You've got Kyle Tucker for the Cubs. Kyle Tucker's an all-star starter. Juan Soto probably should have been for the National League, and he's going to make the team. I think you look at guys like Garrett Crochet for the Red Sox. The problem with him, though, is that they're not a very good team still, but he's played excellently. But Gleyber Torres, in terms of value, dude, like, I don't think anybody expected this. I don't think him starting the All-Star game as a second baseman was the craziest thing to think of before
Especially
the year.
after we struck out in the offseason on Bregman.
Yeah,
It kind of was like, wow, okay.
And
cool.
Bregman was a great acquisition, too,
Yeah.
before he got hurt, for the Red Sox. But Gleyber Torres, I think what surprised me the most is his alien-like plate discipline. That was not part of his game with the Yankees. I'm not saying that he was this like free swinger who swung at everything, but a 383 on base percentage. If you would have told me that before the year, I would have fainted.
But how do we start the season with this team? All of them. We were like, what the frick is going on with all of their plate discipline? It's something different going on right now. Shout out to whatever's going on in the hitting, within their hitting coaches, because the development, you see them at the plate, all of them, and they've looked different. And I get it, Torque. I was really hoping that he could go on a little bit of a streak as you get closer and closer to this thing and maybe give himself an outside chance. But even him to start the season, you could tell that there was a difference as it related to his plate discipline and how he was seeing the ball as it was getting into the batter's box. And so shout out, because it seems like a lot of these guys are actually learning, that they're still developing. Their games are still growing, whether they're younger or whether they're more established players. That, to me, is a sign of an organization that you talk about all the things that show health. This is one that I didn't quite expect. And I do believe it is a big part of why this team is as good as they are. You can't make this stuff up, and they got 3 All-Stars to show for it.
And you know what? Let's take a break and then talk about the most surprising of all of the All-Stars. That's Mr. Javier Baez. I'm sure the
minimum it's 4 that they're going to get.
Oh, they're going to get probably 5 or 6.
Yes.
Because those 3.
They called us crazy when we told them 6 locks. They called us crazy, Justin. Crazy. We don't have to go and get those comments from that graphic when we told them 6 locks, man. It looks like the Tigers might be on their way.
Hey, shout out to Spencer Rexter. I was called a madman. but tell us about Gold Crown, correct?
Yeah. Gold Crown. Smoke like royalty. Check them out. They have infused pre-rolls. They have edibles. They have concentrates. All different types of products for any of you folks who enjoy indulging in cannabis. You can check out the new nerd-coated gummies with live resin infused into them. Pretty much just like those nerd gummy clusters you're getting at 7-Eleven at Speedway. But these ones packed with a little bit more of a punch, a little bit more fun. Check out their Gold Crown Jesters. They got the 1.5 gram pre-rolls for the individuals, and they have the packs. Take to a party and pass them around, have some fun. But like I said, Gold Crown, smoke like royalty. Go ahead and check them out.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
It's part beauty, part beast. It's for those who dare to be different, for those who want to stand out, and for those who are built for more. The all-new Ineos Grenadier combines strength and style for an unmatched driving experience. Sold exclusively at Feldman Ineos of Waterford.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Bake the Energy, every Thursday, that is today, during Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC does, because Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. We are back, and we're talking more Detroit Tigers to the All-Star game, and we know that this team is going to have at least 4 and potentially 5, or another one, we could call it 6. You know what? They're going to do something that LeBron James and Jaylen Brown couldn't do. 4, 5, 6. Let's rock, man. And you know what? Talk about something that they couldn't do. Shout out to New Hip Javi, man. As much as they say, you know, you see LeBron James putting $1 million a year into his body to keep himself in shape, to do all the great things we see him doing. Who knew that LASIK surgery and hip surgery?
I don't think the LASIK was real.
I just wanted to include that one. You got to take that part. You got to go ahead and verify your own information. But the hip, we know that one is real. The New Hip Javi, man, to the All-Star game. This is one of the craziest happenings in sports right now. This is pretty awesome.
His comeback has been phenomenal. The season that he's had to go from being arguably the worst everyday player in Major League Baseball to being a guy who's having a very, very good and effective season, really outshot all of our expectations.
Yeah.
I will never, ever, 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 ever take anything away from that. I'll be grateful for what he's done, even if it's just the first half of the season, eternally.
It's awesome to see him make it on like 2 parts what he's done on the field and 1 part aura. Shout out to All-Star Javi.
However, and I'm curious to see what the rest of the room in the chat thinks about this. In my opinion, Javi Baez should not have been an All-Star starter.
Boo.
I'm not saying that
Final
he
stand.
couldn't have made it as a coach's, just like a manager.
Jesus, fun
saying
police. Holy crap.
I knew you were going to come in.
Oh, my God.
Justin went from training in the sound booth, so I saw him perk up. He was leaning back.
Like,
and he
I
went,
know
whoa,
Buxton
whoa.
deserved it over him. Like, seriously, like he probably didn't. But, like, at the same time, like, don't rain on the parade. Like, he has the good enough stats to be an all-star starter. Byron Buxton got the little bit of the Detroit tax that we've been dealing with for the last couple of years that we are not
finally
privy to
worked
at
in
the
reverse.
moment because of the fact we're the best team in baseball. When you're the best team in baseball, you get nods like this, and Javi Baez got the nod.
Hey.
Justin, you know I can't do that. You know that I have to be true to myself. And Byron Buxton got robbed in the – go ahead and put it up, the stat comparison. Because I'm just going to be quite frank. It's not even close. Not even close.
Let's see.
Go on ahead, Mr.
Let's see how fair he's going to be.
Mr. Amley, if you would. Mr. Fat, Mr. Loose, Mr. Cavassier, Mr. GPT.
Yes. All right. So I have the Javier continued. I'm trying to find the what I imagine is the original. So give me a quick moment. Like I said, I'm loose, not fast. So yeah.
Oh, snap.
You know what? That's my bad.
I only see part 2.
That's my bad. I didn't put it in.
Well, that's cool. Hey, it's all right. Like we stay loose in here. We're not tightening up. We're chill.
But I like where Justin went with this because you know what? There are some things in sports that is very, 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 very difficult to overcome. One of those things is the Madden curse. We saw Megatron actually overcome that, but for what did it count? Because he played for the Lions. So but there's some things you just can't overcome. And one of those things is how we get screwed in things like this popularity contest, media votes, who's watching. And one thing I've heard in the past, over and over and over again, whenever our guys got passed over to a team that were like, but that player's not even better. It was exactly what Justin said. It was, hey, but look at their team success. We saw Cade Cunningham literally lose out on Rookie of the Year because of, they said, team success. We saw Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey get bumped down to second team. Why? They said team success. So it's like, I don't know. I look at this thing right now and this one where I'm like, you know what? This is a win for how good Detroit has been as a team.
It is, but and that was my fault. Chase has the graphic now, so if you want to go ahead and put this up. But I'm just trying to be fair as a Tiger fan and as a baseball fan.
Well, let's see how fair you are. Let me see. You don't even have Oro on there. How was this a real list?
So, Byron Buxton has 10 more home runs, 15 more RBIs. Javi does have a better batting average. Buxton's on-base percentage is 19 points higher than Javi's. Buxton's slugging is 96 point higher than Javi's. His OPS is 116 points higher than Javi's. His WAR is 1.2 wins above replacement higher than Javi's. Javi's defensive wins above replacement is a little bit better, 0.5 to a 0.4, although they're both positive defenders. And for people who lose their mind over stolen bases, Buxton has 15, Javi has 1. And another thing that I had to point out here is that Javi Baez, what's been so valuable about him as a Tiger, but what also I think should disqualify him from being an all-star starter as much as the numbers, he's only had 28 starts in the outfield. He's played everywhere. Byron Buxton is an outfielder, and he's a damn good one. I don't think the numbers are close enough to justify a Detroit karma, as a friend.
I don't know, because there is one very, very important stat that's not up there, and it is a 12.5 games in a rear view that his team is.
I understand that, but Byron Buxton doesn't have a Riley Green. He's the best offensive player on the team by far. He doesn't have a Tarek Skubal.
But they're finally getting hit the way we do. How many times I wore the K Crusader shirt in yesterday, wore Batman in today for the same reasons. How many times has that hurt us? And we had to eat that. Now all of a sudden it's my time to be Kevin Porter Jr. and throw the oatmeal back at them. Like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, his team sucks right now. We're talking about sending the whole rest of the Central to sellers, and I know that when it's our guys, it didn't matter what help K did or didn't have. They say, sorry, tough luck, here's your lemon. This is what we'll give you guys. Have that. Pout about it more. So now we're in a situation where our guys have actually gone out there and done something that not a lot of the league expected, and I do believe that Javi Baez has played a very, very important role in this team. Beyond just the culture stuff and the aura stuff, but who he's been defensively, who he's been versatility-wise, who he's been in that batting box to do what we see him doing with the discipline at the plate and becoming a threat and being a guy who, whatever this team needs him to do, he will do it. Like, I do believe that deserves to be spotlighted the way we've seen it spotlighted for others in the past. And I do. You make some great points because I don't want that to get lost in the shuffle. I don't want my passion for us finally being able to kind of say we got one, because the only way I can say we got one is if I can recognize that this is exactly what's happened in the past. Scotty Barnes, give your trophy to Cade Cunningham. But you get to keep it, and Javi Baez gets to keep this one. Why? Because of the success that he's contributing to as it relates to winning. And everybody told us, when you start winning is when people can actually start to measure your success in terms of actual success.
I'm just me personally, and this is my opinion. I know I'm going to get killed. I know nobody's going to agree with me. I'm not penalizing Byron Buxton for the Twins' dumpster firedom. Byron Buxton is the best thing they have by far. And for the record, I've always been a fan of him, not as a Twin, obviously, but as a player. He's one of the best, I would say, what-ifs in Major League Baseball, because if you look at his injury history, it's just very, very extensive, and it's robbed him of potentially a multiple all-star, maybe Hall of Fame trajectory career. But this is the year he's finally staying a bit healthy, and he's putting it all together, and he is absolutely raking and playing good defense on a team in which he has, I wouldn't say he has no help because baseball is a little bit different. There's like 9 people in the lineup, but the second highest wins above replacement on the team in terms of positional players, Harrison Bader at 1.4. Byron Buxton's at 3.4. He's the best offensive player on the team by a country mile.
Hey,
oh boy, what'd you see?
No, this is funny. This is funny. Shout out DNCENT. We're gonna have to find all of the recent snubs and make this article, because he says Javi's putting on for Cade, AJ Hinch, and ACDC.
But hey,
MCDC. I feel that Javi is almost like for all of the forgotten. This is like finally Detroit versus everybody on the top of the mountain. And hey, you know what? Wherever Justin is, intern Ryan, we might have to cook up that graphic of Javi basically carrying his weight for all of those guys that have been wrongfully snubbed in the past, like Cade for Rookie of the Year, MCDC for Coach of the Year, AJ Hinch for Coach of the Year. What are we talking? JB Bickerstaff for Coach of the Year, Trajan Langdon for Executive of the Year, Brad Holmes.
What's the Batman line? Like, not the hero we needed, but the one we deserved.
That's Javi. Hey,
but it can't be Javi when the numbers are so far apart. Hey, and a lot of people are really not going to like
Batman
this.
isn't perfect either.
It's closer from Javi to Buxton. Like, it's closer Cade and Scotty than Javi and Buxton.
After all the things that we've gotten snubbed over the years with the coaches and all the players, how did Javi Baez, of all people in this city, get the benefit of the doubt of everyone? Of everyone, it was Javi Baez, man.
How did Javi break the matrix? Let's go.
To me, there's no argument for Javi being on over Buxton. There was an argument for Stephen Vogt over Hinch because the Guardians were better and they won in the playoffs, although playoffs doesn't matter. To me, there was an argument Presti over Trajan Langdon, and I actually made that argument, even if it's more of a Lifetime Achievement Award, but Presti's awesome. With this, I don't know. I think with Javi Baez, he's been great in the role that he's been asked to play in, but I don't think he's an all-star starter. Not saying I want him off the team, not saying I wasn't dead wrong about him never contributing anything on this team. He's proved a lot of us wrong. He's shut a lot of us up, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's Javi Baez, and when he's on, he does become an instant fan favorite, not just in this town, but across the MLB, because he was that with the Cubs back in the day.
But why was he that with the Cubs back in the day?
Well, they won a World Series.
But what I'm talking about is it relates to who he is as a player. It's like if he's doing good and people can see the aspect of the intrinsic value that he is providing, that's what I believe is there. And I think sometimes that does get missed. I think that's when we talk about even like the Ben Wallace thing, I believe that sometimes that's what's lost in that nuance. And there are certain intrinsic values that sometimes aren't necessarily as visible to the naked eye, and with a Javi Baez, I do believe that he's one of those guys whose impact goes even well beyond the stats. I don't even want to think about what they would be even without who Javi Baez has been for them this year. And he's been consistent. He's been a guy who, yes, you've seen some ups and some downs, but you've seen that with Riley Green. You've seen that a little bit with Tarek Skubal.
I know, but Green
you've seen these people
are like
they are light years ahead.
better.
That's why I say ascending to. And trust me, I don't sit here and push back on your argument in terms of what stats should dictate. Not at all. I'm talking about the same stuff that for years, 4 years in a row of doing the podcast with Rod Beard and him telling me, Kool-Aid, put the cup of Kool-Aid down. Your guy's not getting Rookie of the Year, even though he deserves it. This is how this stuff goes. And one of the metrics that we have to and we had to accept is that winning is going to be a big part of that, period. That, like, who you are. And it's not just that the Tigers are winning. Bro, they're BTAing this season right now. That's the reason. And so they're going to get a whole lot more of those looks. Because that's why I say I don't want to have it lost in the sauce in terms of what the stats are. But now we finally get the opportunity to see, you know what, maybe there's a little bit more. Because when I am real about who Scotty Barnes is, it's almost a similar type of effect. He's one of those versatile glue guys, and the Raptors had a lot of success, and he was a rookie doing that, averaging dang near a double-double and playing defensively all over the place. And so it's like if I had to be real about it, that's the only way that I'm able to say, you know what, I'll accept it even though I still know our guy was snubbed.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I used to write for this website when I was a freshman in college, and I wrote a whole article. If I can find it, I'll show you Kool-Aid, of why I wrote down all these points on why Cade Cunningham should have been Rookie of the Year that year. Gosh. And I was devastated.
I wrote like 2 articles on that.
I was devastated that he didn't win, but I also think this comes down to reputation. And Detroit's not a massive market, and I think that's something that we've got to accept a little bit. But once these teams start kind of asserting their dominance, and all 4 of them are, hopefully the Red Wings can get there, but 3 of the 4 are, and I think as we continue to assert our dominance in all these 4 major sports, we're going to start to see those benefits of the doubt where we might have a rookie in the NBA or something that shouldn't be a Rookie of the Year, but he just wins it because the Pistons are playing so well.
And I often wonder about the whole small market, big market, all that type of stuff, and I get it, the amount of people that are in any given area. But when you're talking about the amount of people that are actually supporting, Detroit is a big market, and we stand up. We travel well. We follow our teams around. You can't tell me that we're not. You look at what's happening to TV ratings in the games that the Lions are in. You look at what's happening. The Pistons start getting good. I'm sorry. Look around national media. Basketball is better. NBA's better when the Pistons are good. They start parroting all of that type of stuff. The Red Wings. Come on, man. And the Tigers right now, we already understand what sports is on a mass scale. And not that you're wrong. I just think that we are the market that they don't want to put at the major market table. But when you look at what these teams have actually been and what our fans are, we're the ones breaking records out there. We are the ones that are setting the NFL draft records, right? That's supposed to be the king of king sports. Then why do we have the record?
I was going to say that too. And also, we got to think about this too. When they say, oh, it's better when the Pistons are good, the Tigers are good, Ravens are good, yada, yada, yada. But we have such a fantastic fan base here in Detroit, not just in the city, but elsewhere where you go, all over the place, and that's a just a great accolade to all the fans, the Detroit fans, that we are a fantastic fan base. We're not a plastic fan base. We don't just go to the games and just have celebrities who don't care about our teams, but they're just sitting courtside. We have fans courtside, up in the nosebleeds, that care just as much all over the place, and that's a testament to just all the great fans here in Detroit.
I know, but like, that to me is going to make the fans. This is fan voting. Obviously, they were going to vote for Javi Baez. He's a lot of people's favorite player now because of this. I knew it was going to happen. I don't think it's right, but I want to get Chase's opinion on this too. Am I being a little rough on Mr. Javi Baez or no? What say you?
I think it's just flannel being flannel. Like Manny being Manny. I think you're set in your ways a little bit, Sam, and I think you have like your principles, especially with baseball. You're very old school. So, I mean, I think you are being a little bit of the fun police, but at the same time, it's like not going to hate you for being you. Like, that's what makes, you unique. So, I mean, I think it's fun. And at the same time, like, I'm sneak peek to like the Javi Baez continued maybe after this break. Somebody's got to hit 8th or 9th in the All-Star game too, Sam. You know what I mean? So, somebody's got to hit at the bottom of the lineup in the All-Star game too, and Javi Baez is perfect guy to come right there to do that.
Go ahead and put that up because, like, do you mind if we get to that bit?
Oh yeah, whenever, man. Yeah.
I'll be quick with this one. And the reason why I brought this up when it comes to Javi Baez is that, and this is where I'm gonna give somebody credit who people think I hate, even though it's lunacy that people think that. I think AJ Hinch has done a really good job this year of putting Javi in really good situations to succeed, because we all know when he first got here, he was expected to be the best offensive player on the team, and even going into last year, we didn't know what their offensive talent really was. This year, when it comes to Javi Baez, AJ Hinch is giving him regular days off, which is fine, by the way. He hasn't been on the IL. He's played 72 out of 87 games. He has the 6th most at-bats on the team, and 172 out of 243 ABs have come from the 8th or 9th spot in the lineup. The reason I bring this up is because I think what Javi Baez has been for this team has been a super utility guy. And I don't think that's unfair, by the way. Hit low in the lineup, played all over the field, infield, outfield, third base, shortstop, gets regular days off, isn't as much of an everyday player as guys like Green and Torque and Glaber, and even Karp has more at-bats. McKinstry has more at-bats. I don't think, to me, this screams all-star starter. This screams like somebody who is making the most out of what they have, and the manager has a lot to do with that.
I don't know if it's necessarily – I mean, I guess it is the definition of making the most of what you have because it's your opportunities, but I just think it's just a definition of who Javi Baez is here with this team, with this development staff, with the belief that they have in him, and then he still has to go out there and work. It's not like he didn't have these opportunities in the past. He had these opportunities in the past, and he didn't come through. He wasn't an all-star, and he wasn't doing much that anybody in Detroit really cared for. Now we see him going out there and literally doing everything that's asked, and not in the utility player type of way where they'll give you some pedestrian batting average and we still fiend and fawn over them. Javi Baez, to me, is the anti to those types of players.
Like utility player. I'm not saying he's Don Kelly. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that he's played his.
You don't
position.
think he's just a little bit higher than even super role player?
I don't know if utility and role player are the same thing. Like, I mean, you could say that they are, but he's had regular days off. He doesn't get as many opportunities as the other guys, because I think if he was in the 4th or 5th spot, if he did have as many at-bats as, say, Riley Green, then his numbers wouldn't look like this. I can't prove that, but this is where A.J. Hinch, putting him in the best possible situations, giving him regular days off, maybe when he's slumping, be like, I'll sit you down for a second. When they have double headers, I've noticed he usually plays one of the 2 games, which I'm not mad at, by the way. It's just, it's strategic what they've done with Javi Baez.
Listen, A.J. Hinch, you talk about masterclass. Yeah, I see Terrell Lamar in the chat. He says that A.J. Hinch deserves 99.9% of the credit.
I know what you're doing. Go ahead, Chase.
Yeah, speaking of doubleheaders and master classes, why don't we take a quick break? Let me tell you guys a little bit about Mad Packs. Chase here to talk to you about Mad Packs. They're the hottest new cannabis brand, and they've partnered with Woodward Sports, launching their products on May 30th. Available in select retailers near you. High-low, getting you high for the low, delivering top-tier quality at unbeatable prices. Boom, shakalaka. Boom, shakalaka.
shakalaka.
It's the live resin infused tarantula, and this one is the bomb. Blizzard packs, THCA moon rocks that hit like a blizzard. Stay tuned with Woodward Sports Network to find out where you can check out your Mad Packs. And then, while you're online looking where to get your Mad Packs, go ahead and check out Woodward Sports gear. Tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? Well, it's time to get geared up. Amazing apparel and the ultimate swag here from Woodward Sports. Go to woodwardsports.com, click shop, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. You're going to love it. Your friends are going to love it. Your dog's going to love it. So get the latest designs at woodwardsports.com. Go ahead and check them out.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak. Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Belegian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Yo, Woodward sports fans, we're here to talk to you guys about Jars Cannabis. Whether you guys are hitting the golf course, simply just chilling, Jars Cannabis has you covered. They're home to Michigan's largest lineup of recreational cannabis products. They have 27 different stores across the state of Michigan, 9 of them around here in Metro Detroit, and a good chunk of them will offer you delivery, bringing the product right to your door. They're in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, Milan to get some new stores, so check it out. They're coming your way soon. Go to www.jarscannabis.com. See where you can get your favorite products today. Jars Cannabis. Check them out.
Check them out. Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward Chat Family. I see you guys in there, and I see a lot of the OGs. I see the people, they're like, yo, we like to chat today. Patrick Ofiara, what up, though, with Detroit Gunny, A-Diz, Jonathan Lord, Xavier D, Weezy D313, Phil, Dad with Tourette's, Cartier, Crazy Clown, Jessica Dean. It's a lot of people in here, man. Terrell Lamar. And you know what? There's a lot of love as well for Chase holding it down in the TD booth for our MVP. And that led one Creative World Films, that is Willie B, to say Chase is the prodigy of JB Smooth. Terrell Lamar, Chase is getting good. Keep up the work. Keep up the good work, Chase. Just a fan. Hey, Chase, a rising star. Freddie Felt, Chase Hamley is a legend. Shout out to you holding it down in there, brother.
Hey, shout out to you guys in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Hope you guys have a good one. Show some JB some love. Go check out No Chill with JB Smooth. If you guys really appreciate it, and you think I'm doing a good job, go show JB the love and go check out No Chill.
Hey, and you know, it is 4th of July weekend. I mean, it's the long weekend for us. What are people doing for the holidays? What are people doing? You know, we got the show today. Obviously, handle whatever we got for the rest of the day, and then we get to wake up and enjoy a little bit of that American freedom that we enjoy every day and celebrate it, man. and be able to celebrate it. I can't wait. So what you got going on the grill tomorrow, Mr. Flannel Sam? What are you cooking in general?
I mean, probably just burgers and hot dogs, but I honestly, me and my wife lately have kind of been two ships passing in the night on many, many days and many, many nights. We're both very busy, so looking forward to getting a little bit more husband-wife time with my wife this weekend. Should be a good time.
You know what, man? And that's me too. Family time this weekend. My oldest daughter's birthday. We call her Princess Kool-Aid. She
happy birthday
up here. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
So we're gonna definitely celebrate that for her over the weekend, and I just can't wait, man. That's been the greatest revelation in my life is marriage and children. They've helped spur me. They've been some of the ones that's helped be able to kind of re-energize and make me even more ready for these types of opportunities and moments. So I can't wait, man, to be able to spend it with the fam. But what up, Dokavasi? What you got going on for the holiday weekend?
I got some fun plans lined up with Jar's Cannabis.
Oh no!
yeah.
I hope you at least getting that time and a half, my brother.
I hope so.
Oh, jeez. Somebody take my man an emergency plate.
Who was that? I'm like Kodak Black. Like, I hope so.
Somebody take my man an emergency plate. I might just hit you up like, bro, which way you at? And I'm just going to come through with at least a chicken wing for you.
And hey, shout out Freddie Felt. It wouldn't be the 4th without a pink musket. Shout out Freddie Felt.
Hey. Yeah, you know.
That's the man.
I see you, intern Ryan. What up, though?
I just have a question for Kool-Aid and Flannel.
Yes.
Do you guys tell your family how much better Cade Cunningham is than over Tyrese Halliburton?
Oh,
do they all know?
Oh, yes.
They all know?
Oh, I've converted the children, too. My wife, she has no choice but to hear this. Me and my kids, you can look at some of their reactions, too, at Kid Kool-Aid, DET. They watch the games. They post their reactions all day, be into it. And when Tyrese Halliburton hit one of them shots, bro, their souls left their body. I felt so bad for them. I'm in a press conference trying to do stuff, and it pops up on Twitter. And I was like, oh, my gosh. And I was like, well, you got work to handle. But trust me, this is definitely a regular part of our household conversation.
Remember, guys, in Game 4 of the finals when the Pacers were ahead 2-1 and it looked like they were going to win?
Yeah.
Oh, I was a maniac. And my wife happened to get home and be right there just watching me scream and lose my mind. And I remember even when the Thunder were making their comeback, I was like, the Pacers are still going to win, because those MFers just always found a way to mind control their opponents.
So you're saying
it's going to happen again.
You're saying that like your wife was Hank walking in the house like, Jesse, put the gas down.
Yes.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Oh, no. Trouble with a snap?
He can't keep
Oh,
getting
yes.
away with it.
I was bowled over on the ground like I was about to go into labor. And I let out a sound that I will never be able to replicate that. She came running in. She's like, oh, my God, what's going on? You want me to call? I'm like, they lost. They're going to lose. They lost. And she's like, what? She's like, football? I'm like, it's Michigan.
I know people don't.
We were living in Ipsy at the time, too. So it was, you could tell, dog. I could hear my neighbors pissed. It was, dog, but she's seen it all the ups, all the downs, and even including at Woodward Sports.
Well, and that's the thing.
Love it.
My wife is obviously very supportive, and shout out to her. She's become fans of a lot of the players that I have, probably because she wants to see me happy and not a miserable SOB. Shout
out.
Certain teams.
Shout out Miss Flannel.
Yeah, shout out Mrs. Flannel. But there's also that factor, the same as you, when my team loses or like the Pistons have a tough loss, the Lions have a tough loss, Michigan has a tough loss. And my wife also has this bad habit. And shout out to you if you're watching. And I think I've kind of discussed it with her. I'll be watching a game. She'll be running, let's just say she'll be running her like Saturday errands, and I'll be watching a Michigan football game, and it'll be like, all right, 3rd down, up by 3, Michigan needs a big stop. And then all of a sudden she's like, hi, I'm home. And I'm just like, I don't scream at her or anything, but I'm a little cold and distant because I'm just so into the game, And
it's interesting now because she just kind of knows, like, oh, something happened with the Pistons, something happened with the Lions. Yeah, she knows now, man.
And I want to change. I really do. Like, I wish that sports didn't make me like a complete bipolar human being, but that's just who I am.
Mood for a whole day or two. You don't like that?
I don't like it. I hate it. But I've tried to change. I can't change.
I can't. And you know what? Though it's interesting because she tells me she loves that passion. And to see it in my kids now, it's just like, I've done good. I've done good. Trust me, man. Like, I put them through the test sometimes. They know their Bible stuff, and I ask them that. But then I also go, Isaiah Thomas. Who is this? Who is that? And they know it all. Like, who is this? Go and get the Rip Hamilton jersey. Like, even my youngest, before he could talk, where's the Tobias jersey? We got the 34. I told him it's okay to wear that one again now.
Yeah, I got a quick one. Is during the Michigan-Ohio State game last year, the one drive Ohio State scored a touchdown right before there was a push-off on Jeremiah's – or there was pass interference on Michigan that I didn't think was a pass interference on Michigan. My parents walk in, and I go, that's not – Jeremiah pushed off. And my dad – or my mom turns to my dad and goes, you created this. That's on you.
Oh, that's coming
It's just how it is, man. Just how it is.
I got to be honest with you. Last year's game was house money for me. Like, I wasn't super, crazy either way. Obviously, when they won, I was thrilled. But fortunately for my wife, 2023 and 2021, the home games, I was actually in the big house, courtesy of my father-in-law. My father-in-law has a season ticket. So
that's awesome.
That's where we can both kumbaya and be, Michigan fanboys and just go through all the highs and the lows together.
Hey, shout out the 2023 game or the 2022 game. I drank a Coors Light that I snuck into the game on the field as we rushed the field. The third time we beat Ohio State. So shout out.
That was the one that pretty much guaranteed us the playoff too, and that was fantastic. Just a fantastic. But do you know what else has been fantastic?
Because you talked about being relieved at these Michigan of Ohio State wins.
Yes, let's take a break because I still haven't quite,
back to the Jungle Cats.
Given the final answer to my cliffhanger.
Were you going to talk about the fantastic Lee Steele, Sam at Les Stanford?
Absolutely. The Tigers are fantastic, but I do think there's a way that they could improve their team when we're talking about World Series expectation. But it never needs improvement.
Stanford is fantastic.
Les Stanford is fantastic, and they never need improvement because they're perfect. Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2025 Envision Preferred AWD for only $259 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation for only $169 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $699 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC. LesStanford.com.
I root for Ohio State when they're not playing.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
Oh. I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
It's part beauty, part beast. It's for those who dare to be different, for those who want to stand out, and for those who are built for more. The all-new Ineos Grenadier combines strength and style for an unmatched driving experience. Sold exclusively at Feldman Ineos of Waterford.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got Tully, everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
If you've got a crisis, let Vin point the way. Step 1, verify with details and photos. Step 2, engage your attorney. Step 3, notify your insurance provider. Get justice with Vin. Vin Johnson Law. Wake up, Woodward. We're back. Chat family, thank you guys for being here today. I got to talk about what the Detroit Pistons are cooking up at the beginning of the show. And right now we're talking about the Detroit Tigers. And let me know what you guys are doing as well for 4th of July. Let me know what this weekend is looking like for you all. And we'll definitely share some of the ones we see as we go throughout the rest of this second hour. But we talked about a little bit of how much relief it was to see Michigan beat Ohio State. And it's ever so nice of a segue because we're still talking about the Detroit Tigers. And you want to talk a little bit about relief pitching.
Absolutely.
Let's get to it.
All right, and it's not because of last night. Tommy Kahnle had his worst day, maybe ever, but certainly as a Tiger, and blew that game. Not a huge deal. But when you look at the totality of the season for the Detroit Tigers, I think their number one need at the trade deadline, and we're not going to go too in-depth in it today, but I'll just tease everybody on it. I think their number one trade target should be relief pitching, and there are a number of reasons why. The first reason is the Tigers' bullpen ERA is 16th in Major League Baseball. It's not as good as it was last year. Obviously, Will Vest has been great. Tommy Kahnle's been great, last night notwithstanding. You even look at some guys who have came in and played some roles like Dylan Smith, Chase Lee, Matt Gage, recent additions who have pitched very, very well. But, and Chase, if you have the Tigers relievers graphic up there, I think there's been a little bit too much regression from some of the guys that you counted on last year in order to just run it back and a stay put. You look at Bo Brisky. Last year he was a 3.59 ERA. This year 6.55. He's currently in AAA. Sean Gunther in 2024 was a .86 ERA in a small sample size, but still amazing. This year 5.23 is in AAA. Tyler Holton over the last couple of years has been one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. Last year 2.19 ERA. This year 4.12. He's getting it together a bit, but his numbers are still not where they need to be. Brennan Hanafy. Last year, 1.84 ERA. This year, 3.73. And Brant Herter, his ERA is relatively similar, but you can just, when you watch him pitch, he hasn't been the same guy. And it's borne out by, in 2024, his whip, walks plus hits per innings pitched, 0.88. This year, 1.33. And that doesn't even include John Brebbia, who wasn't a good signing, and Jason Foley, who's been out for the season. And I want to be very clear. This bullpen will not cost the Tigers the division. It might not even cost them the best record in the American League. But when you have a division title, when you potentially have the best record in the American League, a World Series becomes the expectation. It becomes something I wouldn't say we demand, but we expect. We expect this team not to go into the ALDS and flame out and then have what we would call a cute season, which it would be, to be fair. If they go in... If they're like a 97 to 100 win team and go into the ALDS and flame out, it absolutely is a cute season. And I think that alone right there, you need multiple guys in the bullpen going into the playoffs, because I got one more power stat before I throw it over to Kool-Aid. In the 2024 postseason for the Tigers, and I know that there was a lot of pitching chaos that went into it, they played 7 postseason games. Of course, the 2-game sweep of the Astros, and then the 3-2 series loss in the ALDS to the Cleveland Guardians. The Tigers used 11 pitchers in relief. You need as many bodies as you possibly can, and especially with the regression of some of those guys, like Brebbia and Foley aren't even on the team. Gunther and Brisky are in AAA. I think the Tigers need to go after a reliever. I've got a couple options that I'll present to you later, but I think the Tigers need to go after a reliever at the trade deadline. And
you know what? As you continue to just kind of monitor things with the Tigers and what they're doing overall, they are still, they're 1 game behind the Dodgers right now for the best overall record in baseball. They're 1.5 up on the Astros, 5.5 up on both Toronto, on the Blue Jays and the Yankees. And then you got Tampa Bay 6 games back, and then Seattle 8.5, and then way down, all the way down there, I see a bunch of Central teams. But shout out to them. And I know that one of the things we've continued to look at is that the Tigers have been one of the hottest teams in all of baseball regularly. they've been one of those teams that when you look at other people going 5-5 or even 6-4 or 3-7 in their last 10, the Tigers have regularly been like 7-3 or 6-4 at worst. But now you look at their last 10, they are 6-4, but the last 12, 6-6. And there are some other teams that are on a little bit of a heater. I saw earlier in the chat with somebody, they don't feel as comfortable right now. And I wonder how much is the pitching is why we see just a little bit of their pace slow for the Detroit Tigers as we get here a little bit closer to the All-Star break, because you see some teams, I believe the Dodgers and the Astros, who the Tigers are still ahead of the Astros, they now have them ranked ahead of the Detroit Tigers in the latest power rankings. Yeah. And I do believe in what you're saying. You got to go and you got to get an arm, because this bullpen is a strength, especially when how can you have bullpen chaos without the necessary arms and the stats to back it up?
Well, hopefully there isn't as much bullpen chaos in this year's playoffs. Hopefully Olsen's back healthy. Hopefully Casey Mize can be, but you never know with Reese Olsen.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, we hope. Yeah. We're definitely hoping, and there's still a lot of season left. But even with the way that they utilize, the long relief, and then we already know if it's not a Skubal start, you could probably pencil in 2 to 3 other relief pitchers. This is where you definitely want to make sure you have this thing bolstered going into the postseason, because how many times do we have, player X hit a big shot off of the Tigers in late innings? Like, I can't have that. I can't have that with this squad that looks like they are poised to really be able to actually take advantage of a World Series window.
And this is all about the playoffs, and we all know that that AJ Hinch can manage a bullpen, can play the matchups, and just give him more reinforcements to work with. And I see Chuck Brewer in the stats. Sam Broder called this out last August. Bullpen was going to regress, and I was seduced by Sean Gunther. I know Sean is seduced big time by a Bo Brisky. Me, not so much, but by Sean Gunther, absolutely, and he's kind of come back to earth. I think that's one of the greatest examples. A short sample size superstar last year. This year, he's been pretty much a nobody. But, yeah, to me, I have more faith in Casey Mize continuing to be a reliable second starter, Reese Olsen coming back healthy, Jack Flaherty being your fourth starter, than I do the bullpen. Because there's going to be some games in the playoffs, whether it's Skubal or whether it's Mize, whether it's hopefully Olsen's there, hopefully he doesn't do this, but a starter or two is probably going to get rocked. The bullpens are going to have to eat some innings. Yeah. And like I said, last year in the playoffs, 11 guys in relief. You need more. You don't have enough right now. Exactly. Not to not make the playoffs, but to do anything in the playoffs.
Especially when it's your strategy. It's not like you're hoping to just have it for depth. We understand how AJ Hinch manages and how he does utilize his bullpen as a weapon. He doesn't wait. He's aggressive with it. He's not reactionary. He goes out there and forces people to react to what he wants to do. And that's what I like about AJ Hinch, and that's why you want to be able to get him as many tools as possible to operate when you're talking about World Series. I'm glad that you continue to frame it in that way, because can you just say, this is a good step in the right direction for the Tigers, and rest on those laurels and say, we don't need to really go out there and be too much of buyers because look how good we are already? You could, but we do know that this team already stepped out, and they stated, Scott Harris, the GM, stated, we see World Series. Not just today, but long term, and all of our moves that we're going to make are going to be to put us in that position. But this is where he's different just a little bit from Trajan. It's because they're in different places. The Pistons aren't necessarily at championship level yet, so you can't necessarily state this. He said that they will be aggressive at the deadline. I wonder what that means as the certain injuries kind of go certain ways. As they get closer, are you now adding for a strength, or are you now hoping to bolster because of injuries or the threat of it? But I am so glad that we got the battery that we do between AJ Hinch and Scott Harris cooking up right now. Absolutely, and all the positional coaches, because you called it out. You're looking at what's going on, and I'm hoping that Feder can help this bullpen. But shout out, again, Broder, he called this, and maybe that there is a little bit more, method to the madness. With this bullpen, because I still believe in what Federer is doing overall, but that doesn't mean that they don't need help to bolster a World Series run. Not just a cute season, not just, we made it to the ALCS, but actually being able to punch your ticket to the big dance.
And for the record, I'm not worried about Kaylee despite last night. I think it was a bad outing. He'll bounce back. I'm not necessarily worried about Vest. I think Holton's going to get better. It's more about the bullpen depth. And shoot, you know what? When we come back, I've got actually some names that I think the Tigers should look into that wouldn't just help their bullpen depth. They would be probably top 3 to 4 pitchers in their bullpen if they got them and they continue to play at their pitch at their high levels. But first, Chase, I believe it's Caesars.
Yes, sir. Everybody, what if I told you that you could place any bet up to $1,000, and if you lose, you could get that bet back? Would you believe me? Would you think I'm crazy? Well, I'm not. If you scan this QR code right above my head and enter the code Woodward1000, if your first bet doesn't hit, you'll get that deposit back up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 back, just like that, for giving it a shot. Minimum bet of $20. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Use code Woodward1000 or scan the QR code above my head. Woodward Sports, or Caesars Sportsbook. Check them out.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Woodward Sports is turning up the heat with a sizzling new partner, Black Rock Bar and Grill, where you can get steak on a stone served on a 755-degree volcanic rock. It's more than just a meal, it's an experience. Enjoy lunch starting at $8.99. Rockin' hours from 3 to 6 p.m. and daily specials. Come hungry, leave happy, rock your steak only at Black Rock Bar and Grill. Stay tuned. A summer giveaway that's coming that actually rocks. Visit blackrock.com. Go ahead and check them out.
Check them out. Hey, shout out to Cavassier Chase bringing us some flair to the ad reads and to the TD booth, filling in for our MVP here at Woodward Sports, JB Smooth. We are back. It's Wake Up Woodward and Chat family. It's been a show. Thank you guys for supporting us this morning. If you haven't gotten the opportunity to, go on ahead and hit that like button to support. Got to get back to these Jungle Cats, man. Yep. And you know, it's an awesome time for Detroit sports because every move that our teams are making is literally moving them closer to the ultimate goal. All of these squads are either playoff team or, you know, bless our Red Wings, you know, hopefully percolating, getting closer to that playoff mark. So every move right now for a lot of our teams is about not even playoffs, but how do we move them closer to a ring, to a championship, to a Super Bowl, you know, and now for the Tigers for a World Series. And that, to me, is what makes this conversation so awesome. It's the same thing that we go through with the Detroit Lions. Do they have enough to be a great team? Yes, they are a great team. But now we get to nuancically dive into what does it take for them to win a Super Bowl and compare them up against those tops of the tops. And now we're sitting here looking at this thing with the Tigers, who this is their aspiration for this season. They want to go and they want to win a ring. this year. And that to me is where I'm so glad that we got a guy like Scott Harris who's been able to make the moves that he sees fit, and it's coincided with AJ Hinch. Whether they've needed to have patience in certain areas like Torque and Javi, or whether there's been certain things they've known, we have to go out there and get a Gleyber Torres right now. Those are the things that I've absolutely loved about them, and that's what makes me really, really fired up about this trade deadline, because I know that they've already stated our moves are about World Series positioning. That to me is why I'm like, let's cook up. And I do hope that it is something that helps to bolster that bullpen, which has been a weapon for the Detroit Tigers, especially last season. We saw what that bullpen was for them.
Yes, and shout out to What Up Doe with Detroit Gunny, because I mentioned I had a couple of names that the Tigers should look into. One of them, yes. There's one that you have on your list.
You got a whole grocery list.
That
Shout out
is
to
also
Gunny.
on my list. But Chase, if you want to put up the trade deadline bullpen targets for me, I've got 3 of them. And the thing that they all have in common is that they are all on their walk years. So it wouldn't take as much to get them. So if you've got that one.
Yeah, give me one quick second.
Oh, absolutely.
And I will have it up for you right away, my sir.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to start with number 1. Kyle Finnegan from the Washington Nationals. Shout out to you, What Up, Doe with Detroit Gunny. That is my name. That's not my name. That's the name that you put that I also agree with. He's pitched 32 innings this season, 25 strikeouts, 10 walks, a 2.53 ERA, a 1.13 WHIP, and his 18 saves are tied for 6th in Major League Baseball. And for what it's worth, he was an all-star last season. If you want to say that he doesn't strike enough people out and he's not your flavor, I guess I understand that, but he doesn't allow a lot of hits. He gets people out, he induces weak contact, and he is a righty. My second one, Caleb Ferguson from the Pittsburgh Pirates. 38 innings, 30 strikeouts, 13 walks, a 2.61 ERA, a 1 WHIP, which is insane, and 9 holds. Again, if he doesn't strike people out as much as you want, fine, but he is a lefty, and he just doesn't allow a lot of hard contact, doesn't allow a lot of hits. However, if you want that swing and miss stuff, your flavor is Sir Anthony Dominguez from the Baltimore Orioles. 34 1/3 innings, 45 strikeouts, which is insane. And by the way, these are this year's stats when I'm talking about all of them. 20 walks, which is a little high, but doesn't give up a lot of hits. A 3.15 ERA, a 1.22 WHIP, 11 holds. He is a righty. And as I said before, the reason why I brought these guys up is these guys are expiring contracts. The Tigers, just based off of my calculations and calculating what it took when the Tigers ended up, they sold Andrew Chafin, they sold Michael Fulmer in recent years. I think that because these guys are expiring contracts, the Detroit Tigers could get any one of them for their 25th best prospect, maybe their 20th to 30th best prospect, and I would do any of them to land one of these studs and put them in that Tiger bullpen and help lead us to a World Series this year.
Absolutely, man. And that is it. I see Terrell Lamar in the chase. Slow down, Kool-Aid. Pistons next goal is second round. Absolutely. But it is for all of our teams to take that next step. For the Lions and for the Tigers, they are saying Super Bowl. They are saying World Series. For the Pistons, it is. You got to go out there and you have to win a home game. You have to win a playoff series. I want to see them host a playoff series. And I believe that they have everything in their power to do that. And once you put yourself in a position of a top 4 team, you really put yourself in a position of anything is possible. You can just ask the Indiana Pacers, who are all season meddling around with that 4, with that 5. I think the Pistons putting themselves in that position, especially in this wide open East with the players dynamic of Cade. You give yourself opportunity to go out there and win that home game, win that playoff series, and then everything else, you see what happens. But with the Red Wings, you're hoping that their next moves are to win a playoff series. But with each and every one of our teams, they are firmly out of that rebuild stage and firmly into what's next, that next level. That's a good place to be for Detroit sports. And that's why, when we are talking about the Tigers, this thing is laid out for them pretty perfectly because they have ascending superstars. They have current superstars. They have budding stars. Everything that they're doing transactionally, it seems to be working out. And the things that could be setbacks, they have just seemed to have an answer for that. the old ad, there's an app for that. This is what's happening for the Tigers. We have looked at things and we've overreacted to things. We've probably underreacted to others where we thought maybe this player is done for, maybe this. And we see this Tigers team, they definitely have a pulse on everything that's going on in front of them right now.
Yeah, and what up, though, with Detroit Gunny? He's got a couple of interesting ones that I want to get to. If we got Kyle Finnegan, does he take over as the closer for Vest, or does he become a setup man? That's for A.J. Hinch to figure out. I don't think that Finnegan would come in and just be the closer. I don't think that's how A.J. Hinch wants to design this bullpen, although it's been mostly Will Vest as of late. But here's the question, and I'm not saying you got to ask Kyle Finnegan this. I think because he's the man in Washington, he's the closer, unquestioned. But the Nationals blow. Come to Detroit. Be a big part of this bullpen. Have a great playoff run. Get yourself a bag. Win some games. Don't just toil away in the dog days of August and September baseball in Washington. Who wants to do that?
It's humid. It's humid in Washington.
Yeah.
It's humid.
Swampy,
Detroit, man.
Yeah.
Sheesh. But
and when I mean Washington, it's because it's the Nationals, not because DC's bad or anything.
Yeah.
I want to be very clear about that. I'm not hating on DC.
Part of all stopping ground.
Washington, D.C. is going to play meaningless baseball the rest of the season. They just are. They're terrible. They've got some
park.
James Woods awesome. C.J. Abrams is awesome. Mackenzie Gore's awesome. Obviously, Kyle Finnegan has been awesome, but they're in last place. They're doing nothing. Come to Detroit.
Yeah.
One of those three come to Detroit, but Kyle Finnegan I'd be happy with.
But even beyond just the relief pitching, what do you believe about this team's need for defense at all? Any type of defensive depth for this squad?
We don't flannel in defense.
I was going to say, I'm not.
I had to ask him, right?
I don't know if I'm.
Look, our chat has I've seen it pop up a couple times, and we understand that when you do get to those playoffs, things get a little bit more tight.
I understand, and that's for, I think, later on, because this isn't a trade deadline show. We will do trade deadline shows when it comes up. Defense, we'll see. That can be factored in. I know also starting pitching. I know everybody brings up a third baseman, and I'm not saying that those aren't moves that could be made. I just think the most imperative is relief pitching. I trust this lineup, which is getting healthier, by the way. Shout out Matt Vierling, shout out Wensiel, shout out Parker Meadows. They're getting more healthy, than I do the relief pitching at this moment. The fact that Riley Green has ascended, we now have our star, that helps a lot too. 3 all-star starters, position players, by the way. I trust the starters more than the bullpen right now. And I understand Casey Mize has an injury history, Reese Olson still isn't back, Jack Flaherty's inconsistent, but I still trust the starters more than the relievers right now. Although, if you were to ask me the second most important, I'd probably say a starter. Right here, right now, I'd probably say a starter.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm seeing the chat just fly right now. And this one, just a fan flannel. You can't fly. Quit flapping your arms. He puts the smiling emoji, man. Shout out to
It's
him.
like Birdman during the Harlem Shake Heat video, just comes up.
That's the victory dance. That's his 3-point celebration. And I rock with it, man. Shout out. Let's take a quick one, and we'll definitely come back because I'm seeing people already starting to put some questions in the chat about the Detroit Tigers. I'm seeing somebody even putting in their Feldman Mailbag stuff, and I'm like, hey, let's talk a little bit more Tigers and anything else you have to present for the Tigers. And then if there's anything else that you guys have heard today, definitely drop it into the chat. But who got to say what up, though, to Mr. Kavasi?
We are going to be saying what's up and hello to Haley as she tells us a little bit about the massage chair. We're going to kick it over to Haley. Oh, I think your mic, make sure your mic's on, Haley.
Okay, now it's on.
Boom, there we go.
All right. Looking to upgrade your relaxation game? Check out Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest, with top brands for massage chairs like Infinity and Osaki. Located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road, experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc. Creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel, book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com or scan the QR code on the screen. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
Check them out.
Tired of losing out on the car of your dreams? Bad credit? No credit? At the Feldman Chevrolet Freedom Sale, we say yes. Over 5,000 new Chevys to choose from, all priced to move with our best deals of the year. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $149 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for only $209 a month. When other dealers say no, Feldman Chevrolet says yes. Don't miss the Freedom Sale, going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, summer is heating up and Michigan is buzzing. Each can delivers 7.5 grams of real THC wrapped in bubbles, crafted with real fruit juice, and no artificial sweeteners. They are bold in flavor and low in calories. They're 100% hangover free. It's all the bubbles with none of the troubles. They're perfect for poolside sips, bonfire nights, lake day chills, taking them out on the golf course. Available at any of WUW's 38 locations across the great state of Michigan. Go ahead and save yourself 30% off online or in store when you pop in that code or mention WSN30. Go to www.woom.com today and check them out.
Check them out. You know what you should check out? Detroit Sports right now. If it's not Black Rock for dinner, look, you got Buddies for lunch, Black Rock for dinner. That sounds like a day. I'm sitting here now thinking like, hey, let me go and text wifey. But you know what? You got to check out those Detroit Tigers, man. We're going to get into our mailbag segment just a little bit earlier, and there's already been some questions that we've seen. So any of the sports teams that you want to put questions about, definitely go ahead and do that. And I've already seen a couple different takes here. I see L in the chat. He says Tigers are exactly where Lions were a year ago. Lions went to an NFC championship and were #1 team in the league the next year. Tigers went to a divisional round and are a #1 team. And I'm wondering, you know, you look at what happened to the Lions, the Tigers. So I'm glad that you at least talked about what you want to see them do from a relief standpoint, because I do believe what they do to bolster themselves at the trade deadline will give them that much more as it relates to the playoffs, having that little bit of extra stamina, little bit of extra help, because it looked like they ran out of steam last year.
Yeah, and I think they're a much better team this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, hopefully they stay healthy. But just to clarify one thing, I forgot who it was in the chat that doesn't think the Tigers would be able to get Kyle Finnegan for the Tigers' 25th best prospect. I still think they can, because Kyle Finnegan's expiring. He's not going to help the Nationals do anything. They might risk losing him for nothing. But I'd go as high as the 20th best prospect for the Tigers. Hell, if the 17th best prospect for the Tigers is a position player, I'd probably say sayonara, no disrespect, to get bullpen reinforcements right now.
What's up, Cavassier?
I was just laughing at Cartier in the chat and Easy. Their little bromance or romance.
Oh my goodness! Shout out to Easy at the heavyweights in the chat, man. Shout out to Easy. But let me see here. I saw the question, and I know what up with Detroit Gunny. He's saying, do we need to make more than one move if you're the Tigers? I believe you do.
Probably. I'd say yes, but like I said, I didn't want to oversaturate with trade deadline talk right now. It hit me last night, and not because the bullpen blew it and Tommy Kahnle was bad last night, but it's been something that's been brewing with me for about a week or two, where when I look at the totality of the season, I feel like relief pitching sometimes even gets slept on how much of a need that it is for this Detroit Tigers team in terms of them winning the World Series. And that's what World Series championship contenders do.
I've got a bit of a trade deadline related question, not related to this season though. Who's your guys' favorite trade acquisition the Tigers have added, like, in recent memory? Obviously, we haven't been buyers in quite a while, but when we have been competitive and we have made moves at the deadline, for me, like, a player that I really think back of and have fond memories of, Yoenis Cespedes. So like,
shout out to Cespedes.
So is there anybody who like you guys think of as like a fun or like one of like memorable free agent acquisition who you were really geeked on? You thought
Like,
this was
free
gonna
agent or trade?
Yeah, I meant trade. Yeah, my bad.
I mean, if it's either, because I don't remember what some of the acquisitions were, but
David Price would be
David
my
Price.
favorite.
I was about to say David Price. I'd be remiss if I didn't say I was excited for when I heard Prince Fielder's name to the Tigers. It's just for the lure and the culture of it all. It felt like prodigal son is returning home. But David Price, that was one. Torrey Hunter, I don't remember if we signed him or when
Signed him.
I think he might have been a free agent, but still, like, we can throw it into the mix.
I loved Torrey Hunter's freaking energy, man. Like everything he brought. He was a guy that went from instantly like to, man, we got him on our team. Let's see what he's about. And he started bringing that whole suit and tie, handle our business energy to the Tigers. And I love what he brought, man.
Well, that's the thing.
But David Price.
He becomes like the guy who is frustrating to play against when he was on the Twins for so many years to now that he's on the Tigers. It's like, yeah, I was a big fan of Torrey Hunter on the Tigers. But in terms of acquisitions, period, to me it's Prince Fielder and it's not close. I cannot even quantify right now how excited I was. We got Cabrera and Fielder? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I thought title was coming. Unfortunately, it didn't. It only lasted 2 years. They made the World Series, got swept.
You
But
remember the hype, though?
Oh, it was
so
unmatched.
hype. Media
It was unmatched.
crazy. National media was crazy. Like, that took over everything instantly. Like, you started seeing the pictures of, the edits of Cabrera and Fielder. I thought, oh, yeah, the league is in trouble.
Yes. And they were. Like, Prince Fielder was really, really good. I would say even great in the regular season for the 2 years that he was with the Tigers. Unfortunately, had some playoff struggles. His body ended up breaking down, unfortunately, way too early. I thought he had a lot of good years left. He did not.
Yeah, Chuckle Cheese says Prince Fielder for sure. Eric Allen, I still have my Prince Fielder jersey. Pudge Rodriguez, anyone. You talk about the person, the player who, even the Tigers, they give him this denotation that he's the guy that effectively helped kickstart and turn around things here for the Detroit Tigers. Shout out to Pudge Rodriguez.
Shout out to Pudge Rodriguez. That's a great one. Hall of Famer.
Really
great for the Tigers. They don't make him like Pudge Rodriguez anymore. Not to sound like old guy, but they don't make him like Pudge anymore.
And Chuckle Cheese, he believes that getting Fielder helped Cabrera hit the Triple Crown by being protected by him.
The funny thing is, you could definitely say that because 2012, I actually will stand by it, that Cabrera's 2013 season was better than his 2012 season. There just was more around to take I think Chris Davis took the home run title or something like that.
I got a question for you, too. Where did it just go? And I'm going to ask this one. It was based off of somebody who just said, all this Kaminga and Monk talk, watch us come away with neither. That is Cartier. And I want to ask you, out of all the names that are rumored, which one is it that you hope, if there is a player that's coming back to the Pistons, that is for the Pistons, man? Is it Monk? Is it Kaminga? Is it, you hope we find a way to get a Keegan? Because there's been some names that you hear, all the little different sites out there and all the different little Twitter verses and Instagram pages and all the different rumors out there. Which one is it for you, brother? It's a tough thing. They got some options. That's why I think this deal is taking so long to consummate.
Obi topped him by a smidge, and then a close second is Keegan Murray. I think Keegan Murray has a renaissance if he comes to Detroit. I really do. It's so tough, though.
But that's where But that's where I'm at too. Like, Obi, I believe, is that ready-made NBA rotation. You know what you're getting.
Yes, he doesn't
get Keegan's ceiling, though.
That's the thing. Obi Toppin doesn't require damn near any usage to be effective. I know. Athletic
I wonder
as
if
hell.
that's what's going on. Trey's just sitting back right now like, dang. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Feldman Mailbag. What is more likely, the Lions go on a Patriots-like run or the Pistons go on a Spurs-like run? Wow. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Come up with those questions, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to Spinney and Brady in the building, too.
I'm not going to put that out there right now.
Yeah.
With all due respect to the Lions
either
and the
way,
Pistons.
you're going to be labeled a hater.
We're talking about 5 championships in 6, like 5 for the Spurs, 6 for the Patriots. I'm not going there. Not going there yet.
Hey, Dante151499 super chat. Can we talk about the Pistons Summer League schedule? Because the first Summer League game is against the Knicks. Also, is A-Rod the new Miggy? And you know what? I did wind up getting that email, man. So, hey, your boy Kool-Aid will definitely be down at Summer League covering the Pistons, try to bring you guys as much good content as we can, man. This is going to be awesome. I think it's the 3rd or 4th year in a row. And you get an insight into even those coaches and the development staff, and you get kind of an idea of what these players are going to be working on, not just the ones at Summer League, but even some of the other younger players. So that's an interesting that's an interesting one, though. But I'm going to try and find that schedule, Dante 151, so we can definitely talk about it. It's nothing to hit home about, but playing the Knicks first, I always want to beat them. Yeah. Knowing that Ron Holland has an opportunity to play in Summer League, it'll probably be one game, and if he shows out, it's probably like, all right, buddy, go ahead and sit down. But I still want to see guys like Chaz Lanier. I'm wondering what they're going to do with a person like Marcus Sasser. But when you look at this thing, the Pistons are going to be a pretty old team in Summer League. Marcus Sasser is an older guy. Chaz Lanier is an older guy. Bobby Klintman is an older guy. So they should be a fun team to watch. And these players, I believe that they are playing for something on the Pistons. I believe that they have the opportunity to show their coach where they are right now and get the roadmap of how to contribute in the rotation this season, because all those players that are going to be there, from Bobby Klintman, Ron Holland, and Chaz Lanier, they all present some things that could help the Pistons greatly this year. And obviously we know Ron Holland is the dog of that.
He is. And also, is A-Rod the new Miggy? I don't know what that means. Are you talking about Alex Rodriguez? I mean, 2 of the best players to ever play.
I don't really know what that means, honestly.
Fair enough. And IT Hips brings up a great point. Miguel Cabrera was the best trade they ever made. They gave Andrew Miller and Cameron Maben for him. And absolutely 100%. The only thing is, Fielder and Cabrera at the time was the most excited it was euphoria. It was 100% euphoria. Obviously, Cabrera was a euphoria too, but I thought multiple World Series loading. Unfortunately, 0 happened.
Yeah, cool. I got a question for you.
What up, though?
Obviously, Summer League in Vegas now kind of has a big national feel to it now. And I saw this on TikTok yesterday. That's why I wanted to ask you this. Do you miss the old Orlando Magic kind of pickup Summer League kind of in the gym style, where it's at 9 in the morning, people are playing pickup style basketball, but you're seeing all these top prospects and kind of just not sort of like a national feel, but kind of just an old school pickup basketball down the street type of feel. I kind of miss that.
I do miss the old style, the ones they used to have it on in Orlando. And I used to, though, wonder, man, but why aren't the Pistons also going to the Las Vegas one? But the Orlando one, from growing up playing ball and growing up on those types of scenes, that to me was what called out to me. Seeing the different training camps, and they would put that on video, seeing that it's just ball knowers in the building, it's scouts, it's this, it's that. There were no fans at the Orlando one. It was if you're there, then you're talking to people who can help you in your journey in media and such. But they do a great job at the Vegas one at making sure you have a lot of those same components too. So you're still able to go to some of the practices. You're still able to go and interview things. And what I like about this one is that you do get the opportunity to engage with a lot of fans. Detroit Pistons fans are freaking sickos. We talk about how we take over everything. They take over Vegas Summer League. I live streamed from there my first time there on the concourse. There were people that were like, oh, what were sports? I'm like, yo, this is freaking crazy. And so I'm looking forward to this year. I put it out online, and there's a lot of people already saying, we're going. And we don't even have a high profile, which we consider a high profile talent. But I like Summer League. What up, Doug Fassia?
I just wanted to talk about something else, because you're talking about something taking over, and I think Woodward Wings is definitely taking over as some of the premier Woodward or Red Wings coverage in the state. And I know they're about to take over the studio here in a few minutes. I don't know if we want to start wrapping up just to let them get cooking again, so they can get everybody satisfied for their fix for the weekend. But I'll
shout out to Woodward Wings, man, continuing to hold it down in the crush and to grow the platforms, man. Shout out to you guys.
I don't know if I'm trying to satisfy anybody, but shout out, Chase.
Shout out to Spin Dog, millionaire in the building.
Hey, hey, yo!
Whoa! My man, Justin, dog.
Pause.
Hey, let's rock, man. Let's rock.
I don't know why I did that. That's funny.
Oh, man. You know what? Let's get this chest pass going, and we'll break this down. Oh. That's a bucket there, man. So this is to my guy Flannel. Chat family, thank you guys for being here and for hitting that like button. And for those of you that didn't get the opportunity to, go on ahead and smash that like button, satisfy it, and lather it up all well. Hey, in the words of the legend T. Foss, make it wet.
Yes.
Hey, and you know what? It's been a show. Shout out to my guy Flannel Sam. But we got a packed studio too. Intern Ryan, intern Noah, intern Haley holding it down in the sound booth. She is learning, and it's awesome to see Woodward Sports growing. So shout out to you over there. How did it feel first day? First day in the sound booth?
Scared.
Scared? Hey, you know, you held it down, man. Shout out to you. And over here in the TD booth, we got Cavassier Chase holding it down for our guy, JB Smooth, Woodward Sports MVP. You did a great job today, Chase.
Appreciate it, man. Shout out. I got a little decor in here. Fire up, baby.
Fire up.
And I hope you guys have a fun, safe weekend, and we'll check you guys back on a Monday.
I love Woodward Wings. Sam, Justin, and Spinny's comment about this free agency period have been hilarious. That is from IT Hips. And L says, great show, fellas and lady. Thank you guys, man. This is the vet of the squad, vet of the network right here. This is Flannel Sam. One of the best just sports knowers out there. What up, though?
Hey, for my personal enjoyment, you know the Tigers have a weekend series at Cleveland, and obviously the Guardians are so far behind it doesn't matter, but just go smack them bums. Smack those bums in Cleveland.
It's time that the Tigers get their just absolute BTA get right on the Guardians.
Yes.
Absolutely, man. Hey, it's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Thank you guys for supporting us this morning. Smash that like button on your way out. And you know what? Most importantly, have a great weekend, man. Family, food, freedom. Let's rock.
America. America. America.
Yeah, dude. I sell Kool-Aid to a diabetic. Before I went to bed, I'm like,